Welcome back to my channel.
Come this
So, we're on a boat and it's in a move. I think it's moving.
আর যাবে না ভাই ওইদিকে মুখ এদিকে কোথায় ওই পরে রিকশা ঢুকা
Who was that?
Jessica.
Oh, Jessica. Can you tell the audience where you're going?
See a movie.
Who said we're going to see a movie? Hey.
Greetings! As you can see, I'm wearing my 3D glasses. That means that all of you that are watching, I feel like I could practically touch you now. That's right, I just came back from seeing the hit movie Mahavatar Narsimha. I actually went last night. Thought I'd give you a review this morning. So, spoilers ahead. I'm going to talk about whatever I saw in the movie. So if you've seen it, keep watching this. See if you agree. If you haven't seen it and you want a little insight, go for it. If you don't want spoilers, you can watch this video afterwards. Or also, like, Bhagavatam's been out for like 5,000 years. So you've had like 5,000 years to learn about Narsimha. I'm just saying. You had time. You had time. But we're going to talk about my thoughts on this movie. I have a few notes here that I jotted down while the thoughts are still fresh. So we hadn't intended on going to see this movie because when it came to Krishnanagar, as soon as there was an availability, like it would get booked up. And it's been like this for every single viewing, like every day. Yesterday was my husband and my 19th year anniversary. And I guess he wanted to do something special. So he talked with some teachers at school. They said, take your wife to see Mahavatar Narsimha. Everybody's talking about it. It's so good. So with them, he booked the tickets and surprised me. So that was really, really nice of him. And, you know, shout out to his colleagues, my friends, for helping him get that together. So it was just like a fun surprise for me, for our daughter. Of course I took my daughter, you know. Mahavatar Narsimha is an animated movie, so it felt like something I could take her to. Also, who would watch her while I was gone? Anyways, so the only thing that was available was the 6:30 p.m. Showtime at SVF Cinema. So we got all dressed up. We went to Krishnanagar, which for us in Mayapur involves like taking our scooty to the ghat.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say, look how many people there are. There's like so much, I can't even count it. So, this is what I was saying. I mean, just look. And this. No, it's cool.
And then taking the boat across the ghat, and then my husband hired a Toto to drive us from the ghat to the cinema hall. So, and of course Krishnanagar, like I don't go that often, but when I do, like it's such a beautiful drive, and I love seeing like some of the nature, some of the people, some of the town. It's nice.
এখানে ও রাস্তার ওপারে তো সেইটাই তো ও আপনি এইখানে দাঁড়িয়েছেন আমি তো বাম দিকে তো ডান দিকে আমি বললাম আরে ডান দিকে তো
Gorgeous, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Bushes. 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 There's lots of bushes. Whoa. I could see everything. Like I could see.
We got to the cinema hall and it was only devotees there. It was packed with devotees. A lot of friends, by the way. I met a lot of people where I was like, hey, hey, hey. You know, even my daughter like saw some of her besties. So that was really fun to have this collective experience with like devotees, with friends, with, you know, people that we know, and all so excited to see this movie together.
What the glasses are for? You don't know? You don't even know? It's a 3D glasses. And when you put it on in the movie theater, everything's gonna look like it's coming right out in your face. Can you believe that? Put it on right now. Does anything look 3D? Not yet, right? You have to wait. Are you excited?
That's nice.
Oh, the boat is here. Look at
And of course, it wouldn't be a devotee gathering without kirtan. And I've been seeing like videos of devotees like all over India, and they're like having kirtan at the movie theater, and I was like, we are so silly, like having kirtan while we wait for a movie. So that was like really cute. Something I didn't expect, a couple things I didn't expect. The movie was late, okay? It was supposed to start at 6:30 and it was like a little bit past 7, I think, when we finally were allowed to go in the theater to see the movie. Usually in America, movies start on time. So I don't know why I expected it to be the same way in India. So we waited a long time. I started to get really sweaty because it's all of us waiting in the lobby for them to let us into the theater. But eventually they did let us in and we took our seats. Okay. And so the seats we got were like not that nice. Like they were kind of dirty. I could see some of the armrests were broken. And I think like the further back you go, the nicer they are. But I'm just here to see the movie and have fun with my daughter and with my husband. So, you know, we tolerated it. And then, so finally the lights went down, the picture came up, and the first thing they did was sang the national anthem. Like, I was so confused. I'm on my phone and I'm waiting for things to start, and suddenly everybody stands up and I hear, why are we standing for the national anthem to see a movie? But I stood up, I guess, because it was so funny. It was funny to me. I didn't want to like disrespect the culture. But yeah, that I guess is something to be aware of. I've never been to an Indian movie theater, so stand and sing the national anthem when you go to see a movie in India. So Mahavatar Narsimha, I've got like my little notes here. Mahavatar Narsimha is an animation. At first I thought it would be like a real thing with like CGI, but it's not. It's an animation, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not like Pixar level animation here, but it is good, and I was able to overlook the animation quality, the not Pixar level, and just appreciate it for what it was. I would say that the quality was more like if you play a video game, you know how there's like stories in a video game? It sort of reminded me of that. That style, that quality, I guess. But again, like, it makes up for it as you watch the movie, where you go, okay, I can look past this, that's okay. Like I said, the movie is 3D. We got these 3D glasses. And I would recommend, if you have an option between watching it in 2D and 3D, watch it in 3D. you gotta watch it in 3D because it really adds like this extra layer of texture to the movie that makes it more rich. Like sometimes you watch a movie and you'll be like, why did I watch 3D? Like I remember like one time my husband and I went to see Avatar. Like everyone was going crazy for Avatar. And we did the 3D thing, paid a ton of money for this 3D thing. And it was like a snooze fest. It meant nothing. It did nothing. It was nothing. But Mahavatar Narsimha, if you have the 3D option, do 3D. It's super good with 3D. It really gives it a whole other vibe. So that was my first thought. Hare Krishna, editor Prema here. Ugh, I look rough at night. Just editing this video, and I forgot to say that I am like a #1 hater. If something is mainstream, I will not like it. I'm letting you know now. If a large group of people like something, I'll make sure to not like it. Like I am very, very critical. So please don't think that I'm fangirling over this movie because a devotee made it, because it's based on Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, because all the devotees like it, because Advaita Maharaj said, oh, everyone needs to go see this movie right now. Like, no, I am critiquing this as objectively as possible. If I don't like something, I'm going to say I don't like it. If I like something, I'm going to say I like it. So with that in mind, enjoy the review. So that was my first thought. So let's talk about the things that I liked. First of all, the music score is excellent. I don't know who did their music, but they did a great job. The music was beautiful. The songs were beautiful. During the fight scenes, it was very, very dramatic. When it needed to be, it was gentle. When it needed to be, it stopped and started when it needed to. Like, very, very good. Their music was excellent. The voice acting, I thought, was also really good. Sometimes when you're doing pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam or any Shastra, like it tends to get a little bit monotonous, like when you're saying the prayers and saying the prayers and or making the point and making the point and making the point. And it tends to sound a little bit like, I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but you could tell these voice actors are very good. There was a lot of emotion in their acting. I could really feel their character. It didn't sound monotonous or like they didn't know what they were saying. It really, everything felt very, very intentional. And I really liked that about the voice acting. Fight scenes. And this is why I'm saying you gotta watch it in 3D. The fight scenes were amazing. And that's what I understood when I started watching the fight scenes and like the demons doing their demon thing. That's when I realized like why they didn't do like a live action movie and include CGI and stuff. It would have been way too complicated. It was better that they did the animation. And yeah, so fight scenes were excellent. Very, very impactful. And I would also like to say another thing. So like you know me, I do dramas. And one thing I struggle with is the fight scene because I can't do all the crazy things that it says that happens in Shastra. You know, suddenly 100 demons pop up out of the earth and do something. I can't show that on a stage. It's practically impossible for me. But the fact that they used animation, they basically could take everything that it says in Srimad Bhagavatam about how Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu fought, or how Varahadev and Hiranyaksha fought, and they were able to include all those details in there and really make it like powerful, and the way it's written in Shastra, and so impactful that could not happen if you've done like CGI or if you've done, you know, like how I do dramas where we're just like punching and kicking and hoping that, and then the person dies and we're like, yay, you know. So that's like, I think that was where the animation really came in handy. It made the fight scene so impactful and so authentic to Shastra, which is so cool. I've never seen that before. I thought the character development was excellent. You could really see how Hiranyakashipu was trying to avenge the death of his brother Hiranyaksha. And from his perspective, you could see that Hiranyaksha is just doing his thing. You know, he's just being a demon and he's just lording it over the material world. Like, why did he have to die? And so then naturally he'd be angry at Lord Vishnu for killing his brother. It was great. And then you see like how also Hiranyakashipu is so absorbed in his status as the king that he saw anyone questioning him and his revenge for the death of his brother as a betrayal against the family. Like you kind of see it a lot in like mobster movies, right? Don't go against the family. Sort of the same thing. Like Prahlad here is a devotee of his enemy, so he's gone against the family essentially. Kayadu is like, look, don't hurt him, and it's the same vein of going against the family or going against what we do. So you could really see that development there with Hiranyakashipu, with Kayadu, how she had so much love and care for Prahlad, how she nurtured him. And then, of course, with Prahlad, like, here you could see they used a little bit of creative license because it doesn't say exactly. When you read Bhagavatam, it talks about like how Prahlad preached to his schoolmates, but it doesn't talk about some of the things that you see in the movie. So I can tell that they made a little creative license so that you could empathize with Prahlad. You could empathize with his experience with his schoolmates and empathize with, you could empathize with Prahlad, empathize with his interactions with his schoolmates, and kind of understand the type of character Prahlad was. You know, he was a good kid. You could kind of see his personality start to shine through here and what makes him different from everybody else around him. So I thought that was really sweet. We could see toward the beginning of the movie, they talk about Hiranyaksha dying and how he dies. You see like Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is just like this cute fairy type personality, and she's just flying around planting trees and flowers everywhere, and she's like got vines for hair. And then suddenly like Hiranyaksha comes and grabs her, and you could see like a real, and empathize how she calls for help, and you can really feel like the terror of Mother Earth being captured by Hiranyaksha, and he throws her down into the causal ocean. Is it the causal ocean she gets thrown into? Anyways. And she's asking for help. Then Varahadev is born. And let me tell you, this is going to be the worst thing I've ever said. No, I've said plenty of bad things and will say plenty of bad things. Okay, this is going to be the craziest thing, okay? Okay, hear me out, okay? So I've heard, if you don't know, Varahadev is one of the 10 incarnations. And he's a boar, right? He's essentially a pig. And I've heard that Varahadev is so beautiful. And he's naturally very attractive. And I'm always like, really? A pig is attractive? Are you kidding me? Come on, my guy. Like a pig, no. Varahadev, he comes out, right? He's born from the nostril of Lord Brahma. And he runs around like a little piggy. And you go, okay, that's nice, right? Then he turns into like this boar man to fight Hiranyaksha. He turns into the boar man, the body. I was like, Dad, Father. I was like, what? He was so handsome, like in a weird way. Like, I don't know, I got it. I was like, okay, I get it. And it was just so beautiful. He was like so tender, you know. He goes down into the ocean and you see, oh, God bless Mother Earth. Oh my God, she was so sweet. She's like hiding in like a clam or something. And then, she turns around and she's still like, she's in this suffering condition, but she's desperately trying to protect the earth, and she's hiding it, you know, with her body. She's protecting it with her body. And when she turns around and sees Varahadev and recognizes that that's Lord Vishnu, then she's able to like trust And it's like so beautiful. And even him, he's like this boar. He's this big muscly boar. And he's so gentle and so sweet with Mother Earth. And I was like, oh my God. It was so beautiful, you guys. So that was like one of my favorite parts. I thought that was really sweet. That was one of my favorite parts. The other part that I think really like hit a lot of people, like I know many people told me like this is the part that made them cry, was when Prahlad just feels so not hopeless, like I wouldn't say hopeless. I think he always had hope, but he feels so helpless, you know, because again, that character development where he sees what his devotion to Lord Vishnu is doing to his family. He sees how it's destroying people, it's destroying the citizens, it's tearing his family apart, and he just like it's just natural to him. He can't help himself. It was really it was so beautiful. It was kind of like Jesus-esque in a way, where he's just like, if this is the sacrifice I must make, then I make it, you know. Anyway, but there's a point in the movie where he's helpless and he's like just praying to Lord Vishnu, and he's just like, I don't know why I'm like this, but I am, and I keep praying to you, and I feel like I'm a little ant trying to drink the ocean. It's so beautiful. And he closes his eyes and he's like, I just want to see you, but that's what he says. I just want to see you, but I'm like a little ant wanting to drink the ocean. And when he closes his eyes and opens it again, and Lord Vishnu is like, you see like the sweet face of Lord Vishnu just looking at him so lovingly, and he gets him on his lap, and Lord Vishnu's like, I'm your servant, like don't even talk to me like that, like I'm here to help you. And it's just like the sweetest interaction. And people, it really like touched people's hearts. I really liked the symbolism of the flower. We could see that they had like this pink flower throughout the movie that they use symbolically for like most of it, basically to represent. It sort of reminds me like in the temple, like when you're praying for something. My husband always tells me this, okay? When you're in the temple and you're praying for something, right? You're praying to Krishna for something, and then a flower falls from Krishna, right? From his turban or his arm or whatever. It means that Krishna heard you, you know? So for me, when I watch that flower and they keep showing this pink flower again and again, it means that Krishna is hearing, right? Lord Vishnu is listening, and he's seeing the suffering of his devotees, and he's preparing for something. And what's interesting is after that meeting, I could be entirely wrong, after that meeting where Prahlad speaks to Lord Vishnu, we see the symbolism change, and it goes from the flower and Prahlad seeing the flower everywhere to it being him seeing Lord Vishnu everywhere. So we have this, again, there's this, for me, it's like the difference between working towards self-realization and being actually self-realized. When you're working towards self-realization, you see the symbolism everywhere. You see the hope everywhere, you know. And then when you're actually self-realized, like, then it's like, yes, Krishna's really here. I really see him. I can really feel him and experience him, you know. So I thought that was really beautiful. Couple things I was not really, I don't want to say I didn't like it, because really I really like this movie. I want to see it again. It was just like a couple little things. The subtitles didn't work so well. Like there were parts of it where there was no subtitles, and thankfully I knew the pastime, so I just you know, could kind of figure out what was going on. So the subtitles need to be cleaned up a little bit. By the way, if they're looking for English voice actors, I can send in my resume. I'll send my CV. Somebody who's watching this, please connect me. Please. The beginning a little bit for me was a little bit too intense. I was like ready to close my eyes for the whole movie from the beginning. It starts off with Dutty and Kashyapa, right? It's basically talking about how did Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, like how they were born. So basically Dutty has a desire to be with her husband, and he's like, no, now's not a good time because Lord Shiva is passing. It's an inauspicious time. You've got to wait just a few minutes and then we can do the deed. And she just like refuses to hear it. And then she basically forces herself on him, and he just relents. But the scene starts off with her taking her hair out with like a hairpin, and then she's like dragging it, and then she like stabs it on something. And for me, that was like really aggressive. I thought she was I didn't know what was going on because the subtitles weren't working in the beginning. So I thought she was going to kill him or something. I got really scared. So I think there should have been like a sweeter approach to her desire than the stabbing thing. There is one point where the two teachers, they're standing there and they're showing Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu, and they're like, yeah, we tried to teach him, blah, blah, blah. And then a lady pops up and hands them something and then disappears. And then something else happens and she pops up again and then takes it away and then disappears. I didn't know what that was about. Here's the thing. I mean, I might have missed it somehow because it was in Hindi and there were subtitles, and I was having to explain it to my daughter as we were watching the movie. So I had to turn my head a lot and be like, and then da-da-da-da, and da-da-da. And I might have missed why that was going on or who that lady was. But yeah, so that was kind of confusing for me. It just felt a little unnecessary. One part that was like a little bit like cringy, a little bit of an eye roll, was when Prahlad comes back. And I love how you can see in this movie how just through Prahlad's conviction and through Prahlad's behavior, through his qualities, people start to follow him. They start to believe him. They start to have like a little inkling of faith again, just because of Prahlad. But then he pops in, he comes back in the town, and then they just do Harinam, like they have kartals and some drums, and then they're just doing like a Harinam, like a Russian style Harinam. And I was like, what? Why are they doing this Harinam now? Like this is business. We're at business right now. We're at, T minus 10 seconds right now, my guy. We don't have time for the Harinam. So that was really random. I don't know how I felt about that Harinam. But I don't know. I spoke to somebody yesterday after the movie, and they kind of liked it. The scene when Nrsingadev is just about to kill Hiranyakashipu, right? Hiranyakashipu's on the lap. Nrsingadev is just about to go for it, and he has a flashback. I feel like that flashback should have been longer because it was like half a second. It was so quick. It should have been like, it should have been more, and I would have loved to have heard Prahlad's voice during the flashback, praying the whole time to Lord Vishnu. There should have been like one line that it ends with that, that really like seals the deal for Nrsingadev to just tear it open and do it. That flashback was way too short. It was way too short. It was hardly anything. Make it longer and add more of Prahlad's suffering, the things Prahlad was praying for, and even like make it go faster, like it's reeling through Nrsingadev's mind, and making him more and more agitated and more angry, I love that. I love that. So yeah, that's my critique. Another thing was like, maybe I'm saying this just because I'm brown. Skin color. We need some different skin color. This is Satya Yuga. Everybody had all this different skin color. They could have researched some different skin. So like, for example, Narada Muni, blonde hair. It's described that he had golden hair. Things like that. I mean, many things are well researched. Like we didn't get the Lord Brahma with the long beard, right? In our universe, Lord Brahma doesn't have a beard. He looks young. He looks schwab. But yeah, some things like that where I'm like, I'm sure people were different skin colors. Why do we have to have like very dark looking demons and then like light skinned non-demons? And then Prahlad is born in a demon family, but he's got the light skin. And that was like another thing too, where like, I get that you're trying to show like these are demons, but then it's like, but Prahlad is also a demon. So I feel like either Prahlad should look like a demon or all the demons should look normal and have some other identifying thing to show that they're a demon. But I just felt like it just felt odd that Prahlad is a demon, but he doesn't have like the teeth sticking out or some horns or something. He just looks regular somehow. And I just felt like people should have different skin colors. I think that was all I had to say about that. Now, my daughter was sitting next to me while we were watching this movie, and she was like losing her mind. I was a little nervous because it is a very gory and gruesome and violent movie. Like, there's a lot of things in there that, it gave me the ick. Because it was so gory. But she loved it. She thought it was great. She had a lot of fun. She wants to see it again. I also want to see it again. I thought it was really, really good. It was really fun. The whole time, like when Varahadev pops out, when Nrsimhadev pops out, she starts screaming in the theater. I love going to the theater with my daughter because she gets so involved in whatever's happening, you know? Like, she's right there. So she's cheering and she's screaming in the theater and she's clapping and she goes, "Bravo! Bravo!" And everyone's looking at her like, is she okay? I'm like, she's loving this movie right now. I thought she would have been scared, but she was just like, yep, he's killing the demons. He's protecting the 5-year-old kid. She was like on top of it. Just like, my daughter is just so sweet. But that was basically all I had to say. Her favorite parts was Varahadev and Nrsimhadev killing the demons. So that should tell you, like, a lot of kids seem to really like it. But if your kid is like a little bit sensitive, yeah, at least prepare them for how gruesome it is. Like, you really, like, you see, like, they're like cutting people in half and like the eyes pop out and they're cutting the heads off and they're, you know, they really didn't hold back because they really wanted you to feel this movie and experience this movie and connect with the seriousness of the situation at that time. But yeah, my kid was just super invested in this story because I think for a little kid, you know, Nrsimhadev is a kid's deity, right? He's protecting Prahlad, who's a kid. So this is the story of a child's hero, the one that's always going to look out for you and who loves you. I always tell my daughter, I said, whatever happens, pray to Nrsimhadev because Nrsimhadev loves children, right? Like, he loved Prahlad so much. Yeah. I did see at the end that they teased a little bit that there's going to be another movie about Parsuram. So I'm looking forward to that. Overall, this is a great movie. I suggest everyone should go see it. 10 out of 10. Everyone should go see this movie. Mahavatar Narsimha. It's out in theaters right now. I think in a few months it'll be streaming. I have no idea. But go see it. I totally recommend it. Okay. Bye.